once again, annoying you just one last time with a chess video. And this might be, who knows, I think this will be my last chess video. And I'm going to go trekking and do that, long haul trekking. So, yeah, so I'm doing 4 videos of chess, but it's not going to be like a weekly thing, unfortunately. So it's kind of funny. The day before, I was sort of I was upset about losing to a 450 player. About the lower levels, and then the very next day, I decided, okay, screw this. I'm going to start playing computers, see how I do against. And the reason why is, I decided to do computers is because they just to improve my game, as far as be more solid and not deal with the gambits that humans tend to play, but computers, for some reason, don't like. So this is Lee. She's a 2000 bot. I've never beaten her before. I've played her a few times, like 3 or 4 times. I guess I got lucky this game. And so I was able to play a very, very solid game, and I beat her. So there you go. I go there. So they do that, which I guess is a reverse Sicilian or something. I don't know. And then that does the knight. Yeah, that's a Sicilian. I thought it's for black, though. I guess it's reverse. I don't know. Takes the 2 knights out, and right now it says she has a 0.5 lead. The engine says that. Now it's 0.121108. And let's see. She brings the queen's pawn out. Not bad. I take that pawn. And now she's controlling the center square, but the computer engine is saying, hey, the Lee bot is down by, what did I take there? Yeah, I took the bishop. I'm like, okay. The reason why I took it is, although it says that it go down, is that it ruins his castling ability. I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah. If I can ruin your castling ability, I'll give up a somewhat strong bishop. That's, for a trade. By far, because you're in a position that's not ideal. So, it takes it, and then I take the next pawn, and then the queen comes out. All right, it says right here, I'm leading by 0.7, and then I do that just for, I guess, the reason I did this is I wanted to keep this, these 2 things defending each other. Then, yeah, of course, they're going for that. Let's see what and I was like, you're not going to have that. That's just not going to happen. But it still says that, it's basically minus 12. I'm barely leading now. And then that happens, and I double up my knights, and the idea is if they go down here, I'm okay because I've got this pawn and this protecting it. But of course, you've got this. So this is protected 2 ways, and I'm only protecting it 1 way. So that does become an issue. But then for some reason, the queen goes crazy and says, screw that. You should have pushed the pawn there. But instead, the queen goes there. And so I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. I'll protect this knight then. And now, the computer's saying that's a horrible move. And I take it. And I guess that was the right move to do. And now, I guess the idea here is for Lee the chessbot, to get this pawn right here for a checkmate. Boom, boom. But I have other plans for that, and I just basically take the knight over here to force that queen off. Oh, no, I don't. No, wow. No, that's the next move. But, this here protects the pawn. So that the ideas of that are sort of few and far between now. And now it says I'm up by 2 points. And then I just say, okay, here you go. And I do start forcing the queen off. And then I do something a little weird is I feel like that this knight's a little bit on the strong side, and I can make this pawn double up. And in the end game, that's going to be a strong thing to do. But I was like, in the end game, it's still nice to have a bishop if you can trade a knight for a bishop, go for it, because a bishop is a far better thing to have than a knight, and I can put this bishop right here, and it goes cross diagonally. So I'm like, okay, I take it, and then inexplicably, the pawn takes. And I think the reason this happened is because Lee is a checkmate first type of bot. So it's, it doesn't really care about pawn structure or endgame. It's like where it's really strong is the opening and maybe the mid game. But once you get past that, that's where Lee starts basically falling apart. And so yeah, I knew that this would be no big deal because I can just take it with the pawn. Or do I? Yeah, so I do that, and there's ideas here. I can move this pawn up and force, and then do a trade sort of thing and take that pawn, but that's not necessarily the best idea. That's what happened. So now he's trying to get at my queen. I'm like, yeah, dude, all I have to do is step to the side. I do. And I'm still well defended. Boom, everything is in place. That pawn's defended. So even if you try to double up, I'm going to have that. And then even if you move there, so what I do is like, okay, let's just trade off. No, I don't do that just yet. So I do it there. And I use this one because I realize that if they, I don't want this, because when I take with this rook, then, I don't know, I had a reason. It sounded good at the time, so then I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Boom, I'm trading. And there's the mistake. You don't do that. Oh, no, you don't. And then now the queen is in trouble. Luckily, that rook is protected by the king, but I don't care. It's another piece off the board, and I have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 pawns. And this one has 5 pawns. I'm 2 pawns up. It's just an easy boom, 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 boom thing. I'm like, okay. And I do something weird because they do that. See, this bishop, I knew that was going to happen, but I realized, oh, cool, you're going to take 2 pieces off the board. Oh, and what's left is a freaking knight to bishop game? Heck yeah! Woo-hoo! And I also knew that pawn is undefended, so hey, what you gonna do with that? And so that was a pretty decent move. And I realized I was exposed to a check, I think, or something. I didn't take that for a reason, but I was like, you know what? Instead, what I'm gonna do is just defend these pawns and have him more. And I also realized that I can just go here and here, and once this bishop is on the diagonal, I'm in control. But I don't do that as well. I want the king in the endgame. You want the king to get into the endgame. So there, I then go there. I was like, no. I still want that king to be in this endgame. And then I do this. I was like, hey, if I trade off, hey, I'm really in good shape now, even though it's a bishop. I'm like, but that's why there was the move away. And that's where I'm starting to, and now I'm threatening this pawn, and there's not much. And that's the valuable pawn because it's an island pawn. And these 2 are defended, so this has a weakness to it. And so I was like, okay. And then I check. And I was like, you're going to move away, sucker. And what here is, I foresaw that there would be a pawn en passant. And I was like, that's okay. I get rid of your troublesome pawn, and even if this pawn is right here, no, actually I don't. No, I take it with the king. So my 2 pawns remain solidified. So he goes here, and I just take it with the king. And then, bam. Now I've got, still an extra pawn and a knight. Things are looking good. And so then I just go here because I realize he can go after this, but he can't kill this, he can't kill this. As long as this bishop's on the bottom structure, These 3 pawns are impenetrable. There's nothing that the white can do. Even if you take the thing, it's going to take a while for this this bishop to die. So I go on. And I'm like, I'm going for those pawns. I'm going for the top pawns. I know what I want. Oh, yeah, you got me in check. I don't care. You're just... I was going there anyway. So, and of course, the idea here is, oh, I want you to, let's trade. I'm like, I don't care. I know that there's a little bit of danger, but still, there's this knight here and this pawn here. It's gonna take a couple moves. I'm already like, boom, boom. I'm one step ahead. I'm one freaking step ahead. And your king, while eating up this, is going to be in the path of the pawns, while these pawns will have a clear path because I will have completely destroyed the left side. So I'm like, sure, go after those pawns. I don't care. And so I just completely ignore the left side. And now this happens. The computer's like, okay, fine. This is great. You're helping me progress my bottom 2 pawns. Thank you. Thank you so much. So at this point, the computer says, oh, yeah, I better start taking the pawns. I'm like, yeah, go for it. But it's too late now. Oh, yeah, there we go. I'm just like, okay, pawn pushing. Boop, boop. And as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. I'm 3 moves ahead. Oh. Actually, maybe even more than that. So now the queen's on the board. And the king can kiss those pawns basically goodbye for the most part. And I got that extra pawn. And yeah, you best believe I'm going to be using them. So I put that in check. And I had this idea. Not yet. So I do that because I knew I wanted to progress that pawn. But I realized if I just put the queen here and he tries to put me in check, well, I get this pawn. And even if somehow, some way I screw up this and I have to trade a queen for, at the end, it doesn't matter because I got this little pawn here. Game. It's checkmate, baby. And I put that queen here because I realized that pins the king there, and if this pawn moves here, I kill it. So I'm like, okay, do your little thing. Boom, boom, and I, no chance of repetition. And now he finally, I'm like, now I'll take that, fine, and I'll just go back and block that. I could have checked right there, but I'm like, nah, let's get the other queen on board. And then the checks started to happen, and then boom, and then one more to there, and it was game, set, match. All right, that was it. Yeah, I beat the 2000 bot Lee. So I'm proud of that. Yeah, of actual victory. I think the first video I had today I lost. Second video I was proud of winning, of tying, and now you see a video of me winning. So that's it for now. Have a great day, YouTubers.